Hey guys, this is just a quick reminder before we get into the review that my channel and videos are intended for adult collectors and adult audiences only, as I use adult language, adult humor, and adult references. So, if you are below the age of 18, please make sure that you are either watching this video with permission and presence from a legal guardian, or that you are not watching this video at all, okay? Thanks so much for subscribing and for liking and watching my videos. With that, let's get into the review. So as I behave as though I'm a bumbling fucking buffoon trying to figure out which figures I would like to review, both old and new, official and third or fourth party, I decided to kick off 2026, albeit very fucking late, to which I apologize for that, with a figure review of someone who actually just arrived for me. This is the APC Toys, recently renamed to Gear Factory Dreadwing figure called Bolt the Airfighter for the sake of copyright. So, I'm just gonna look at the box. The box will have absolutely no bearing on the figure review itself. I just want to look at the box. So here we got box, right? Good box art. We got Tony Todd, RIP Tony Todd. I loved him. We got Bulkhead. Here it's upside down, but we actually, no, it's not. It's right side up. So we have more Tony Todd. We have his jet mode, which I forgot which one it was specifically, because Starscream was the F-22. I don't remember which one he was, but it's okay. I don't care. We got more Tony Todd, which, by the way, the art is actually very solid. Kudos to whoever the fuck drew this. Very excellent art. Okay, then on the side, we got more Tony Todd. And then we have a QR code for the instructions, and then we also have more Tony Todd on the bottom. So overall, box is good. I love the box. Good box art. Since he is now out of the box, we will not be needing this anymore. So I'm just gonna put that aside. And now we can move on to the first category of my rankings, which would be the bot mode. Now, of course, this figure, although it is absolutely amazing, it is just like a re-release, kind of, an unofficial re-release of the Voyager class Dreadwing toy from the Robots in Disguise toy line back in, I believe it was 2013. But honestly, I couldn't care less. It's genuinely a beautiful figure. I love the plastic quality, which is actually very, very nice, very solid. Gear Factory / APC Toys has always had a knack for very good plastic quality, and I really do appreciate that. And on top of that, the paint job is amazing. He looks near identical to how he's supposed to in the show, and it's actually beautiful. Like, look, they even took the time to paint the eyebrows on his head. They took the time to do that. That's like, it's so unnecessary. They didn't need to do that, but they did. And you know what I love? I swear to God, Hasbro needs to bring this back a lot more. We have the light piping. So I'm going to put a picture up on the screen right now. That's what he looks like when the light shines through the back of his head and lights up his eyes. It's so beautiful and it's so cool. So, overall ranking for the bot mode for me, solid 9 out of 10. Never 10 out of 10 because it's not perfect, but it's still really, really beautiful. And I'm actually very, very glad that I now have this guy as a part of my collection. Moving on to the second category, which would be articulation. This guy's got pretty much the exact same thing. If you guys already have the Voyager class Robots in Disguise Dreadwing, this guy's got the exact same thing for articulation and everything, but I'm just gonna go through it anyways. Starting with the head, he can look backwards, and he can look down. He can actually go a little bit further because of this little piece here in his neck, so you can make him do that. He can look from right to left. He can move his head from side to side, and since he's on a ball joint, sorry, I keep having to lean him because he's, like, tall as fuck. He has 360 movement in his neck. So there's that. Moving on down to the shoulders. The shoulder pads that he has here, which are part of his jet mode, right? They lift up and it will reveal hinge joints and a ball joint for his shoulders. So his arms can go up that far, right, at the shoulder, and then they can go all the way down because of transformation. Then you can always use the shoulder joint here to make his arm go up and, about that far in. Moving on down to the forearms and biceps. He has a slit in his bicep, which will allow for 360 movement. And then, of course, his elbow can bend that far in. And then, of course, straighten that far out. Moving on down to his hands, he actually has, I believe it's a swivel joint. So his hands do have 360 movement. You can move them in a circle. And then on top of that, his knuckles are articulated, which is literally my favorite thing about the articulation so far. I love it when they put little extra detail that's completely unnecessary. And if I'm not mistaken, the older Dreadwing and Skyquake toys didn't have articulated knuckles. So you would just have, maybe they did, I'm not remembering quickly. I'll correct myself. Future me editing this video will correct my current self if I'm lying and stupid. There is no waist swivel, and there is no abdomen crunch, which I couldn't care less about because due to transformation, it would probably be insanely hard to even include that. And after all, this is just an unofficial re-release of the Rebels in Disguise Dreadwing, so we don't care about that. Moving on down to the hips, they are on a ball joint, and I swear to God, these joints are really, really tight. It's so nice to have. He holds poses incredibly well. He can kick out by about that far. He can kick back by about this far before the wings start to interfere, and he can, if I straighten him out, he can kick his leg back by about that far, and then he can just straighten it up about that far. Something else really cool, which I can only assume is a transformation thing, his ankles, his, like, feet, they do have, like, a little hinge, so they can go up, and then they can come back down. So he has little articulation in his toes, which is very, very cute. Moving on to, actually, wait, I didn't rank the articulation. Ha ha ha. Solid 8 out of 10. Truly do love it. Again, like, 8 out of 10, that's not bad at all for articulation. That's, like, the standard transformation, or transforming figure articulation. So, yeah, articulation, pretty good. Now moving on to accessories. This is probably, so far, my favorite part of the figure, because, oh my god, okay. So, when I first saw the APC Toys Dreadwing, right, automatically, like, I was just, like, so excited, but then, when I read the list of accessories he was gonna come with, I actually nearly creamed my pants. So, anyways, so far, he has 2 extra heads with different expressions. We're gonna cover the one in my left hand first. This one has him smiling, so he's kind of like smirking, a little bit cocky. It's on a ball joint, as you can like take this one off. Like, I'm just gonna demonstrate. Do be gentle, okay? So you're just gonna gently maneuver it off, and then you're just gonna take the other head and then just pop it in. Like that, and then he's smirking. Wait, I'm gonna put this, okay, cool. And now for the other head, he's a little bit more aggressive. This is pissed off. This is probably how he looked at Starscream when he found out that Starscream revived Skyquake with Dark Energy, I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, yes, so he has 2 extra heads. This is the OG head. He has 2 extra heads. They look great. I love them. This is what I want when I say that Hasbro needs to give more accessories for their Transformers figures. Because the point of an accessory is that it's unnecessary, okay? If it's a weapon, I feel like depending on the weapon, it can't count as an accessory. So, with that in mind, I love the next couple of accessories. He has his little grenades that he used when he and Optimus were, like, beating the fuck out of Starscream in the Apex armor. And they actually do port into his wings, because they have little ports on the background. So, you want to take his wings, and you can port them into either this tab or this tab. And mine don't always fit, because they're stubborn. But this one actually decides to fit. Yippee! And then you can just take the other bomb and put it there. And then he can just have them on his wings like that. So he can just have little bombs on his wings. Something else really cool. They gave him, I could be stupid. This is the detonator. They gave him the little, like, detonator thingy for the bombs. So he can hold it too. He can hold it. Like, let me demonstrate. So you gotta take his hand, okay? Open up his knuckles. You put the fucking detonator in it, and then you close, and then he can hold it. So he can hold his detonator, and then you just close his hand to make it look natural. And he's just holding his detonator now. It's very, very cool. I do love it. This next accessory is the second to last one, and it's one of my favorites. It is his sword that we see him carry in Transformers Prime. The sword, the paint and the plastic is really good. First of all, I didn't mention it, but the paint and the plastic quality of all the accessories, seeing as how it's just the same as, you know, the Dreadwing figure, it's absolutely wonderful. I truly commend Gear Factory for being willing to put so much time and effort into creating accessories that were suitable and worthy of the figure. Like, it's genuinely really good. So that's Dreadwing sword. Moving on to my favorite weapon of his, which is actually kind of like a 2-piecer. We have, like, the flamethrower / machine gun thing that he has with the blade, the bayonet. Now, they come detached in the bag, so how you attach them together is you look at this side of the gun, right? You look at this little tab port thing right here. You look at the blade, the little, like, gap here. You want to put this thing... Let me see if I can line it up correctly on camera, because I always have trouble with this. You want to line them up so that the gap of the sword is right here in, like, the little slit of the plastic. And then you want to gently push it down so that they combine like that. And then there you have Dreadwing's entire little weapon. I heard that there were rumors of them also giving Dreadwing Skyquake's turret gun, if that's what it is. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't. However, seeing as to how APC Toys now, sorry, I keep saying APC Toys. Seeing as to how Gear Factory now has the mold for the Dreadwing figure down, it's literally going to be no issue at all to just repaint it for Skyquake and then mass produce Skyquake with his own appropriate weaponry. So the fact that we didn't end up getting Skyquake's weapon with Dreadwing, I honestly couldn't care less. Also, he can hold it because of course he can. So actually, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit to where he has it in his hands because it's gonna take me a minute. Okay, so that's what he looks like when he's holding his laser blaster. I was stupid. It's not a flamethrower or a machine gun. I don't know why I said it was. It's some sort of like laser blaster, and I genuinely, like I said, my favorite weapon. Overall accessories rating, absolute 10 out of 10. I genuinely have no clue what the hell they could have done or given him to make it better, because he's already given so much, and it's honestly, it's fantastic. It's completely stellar. It looks so good. I just cannot get over how good he looks. It's absolutely fantastic. Now moving on to the next category, which is transformation. He is an extremely complex figure to transform, so rather than just do it all in one take, what I'm gonna do is just record little segments of me talking about what to do. You guys let me know in the comments whether or not you like that recording style for transformation sequences, and I'll see if I can do them from now on. Hi, this is a little future editing here. Something that I didn't know you could do, that I didn't discover until complete accident when I was de-transforming him, is that before you actually start anything, if you want, you could, you should lift up the forearm pieces. You should curl Dreadwing's hands in so that his knuckles are, you know, in a ball and a fist, and that his hands are facing outwards, and you basically want to push the hands into the empty space that you'll see when you open up the forearm, and then you want to close the forearm, and then you want to continue transformation from there. It's literally the only difference it makes is that you won't see his hands when they're at the back of the jet, and that's literally it. So with that, feel free to do everything else that past me said for transformation. Starting with the arms, first you want to take the shoulders and you want to gently bring them down to about that level, right? You kind of want the fingers to be brushing against his knees, but not exactly. Then you want to take his hands and rotate them inwards without twisting the forearm. Mine's already twisting the forearm, so you want to just rotate the hands inwards like that, and then do the same with the other arm. Rotate them inwards. Ah, wow, this one has a really tight swivel joint. Ah, just like that. So have the hands now facing inside out. You want to take the arms and bring them up like so that he's now T-posing. Then you want to take the forearm slits and you want to use that to rotate the angle of the arms by 90 degrees, going backwards without rotating the shoulder. So mine keeps on rotating the shoulder. So you basically, hold on, just boop. Boop. So you now want the forearm and hands to be facing backwards, like so. He's still T-posing. Now you want to take the entire arm, including the shoulder, and using the ball joint that he has here on both arms, you want to rotate it backwards at a 90-degree angle so that the ball joint now looks like this, and his arm now looks like that. You want to do the same here, just like that. And you also want to bring them down a little bit at slight angles, just like that. Then you want to turn him around so that he is facing backwards and away from you, and you want to take the fins here and you want to fold them up and bring them down like so. Then you want to take his neck and bring it backwards and fold it up so that it looks like that. Then you want to take the shoulder pads that he has and rotate them downwards and backwards by 90 degrees so that they look like that. Then, by gently untabbing the waist, you want to bring this entire chest piece and have it flip upwards. Give me a minute. Like so. Just have it flip upwards like that. Once you have his chest open so that it looks like this, you want to take the nose of the F-35 fighter jet and you want to bring that down, and then you want to bring this piece and you just want to push it backwards so that it looks like that. Then, once you have that done, you want to take the chest pieces out and you want to bring them out as far apart as you can so that they're spread out like that. Then what you want to do is you want to gently, these silver pieces here on either side, they're going to gently push up. Push up, push up, please. Give me a minute. go. There we go. Push up like that, come together, and tab with these two tabs going into these two ports. Be sure to be gentle and be patient. And then you will have the two outside blue pieces naturally pushed together, and you will now have it look like that. Then you want to have your Dreadwing flipped back over and make sure to fold his head in, turn it in like that, and then fold it down with this hinge piece here, like so, while also being careful not to hit your Dreadwing head on the front of the plane that we just folded out so that it looks like this. Following that move, you want to take these shoulders and you want to push them upwards so that they go flat against the front of the plane, while also making sure to not accidentally unfold the plane. If your Dreadwing is really heavy and you have to put him down on your table, don't worry about it. It's completely normal. Be sure to peg in the pegs that we see on the plane, or the shoulders into the portholes that we see on both sides of the plane, and just gently push them together. Give me a minute. Mine's being stubborn. Everything always goes wrong when it's on camera. It's so annoying. Wait. Okay, wait. Almost got it. Okay, there we go. So you should now have him look like that. Once you've done that, you want to take the wings and you want to fold them backwards a little bit. Helen, wait. Get the leg out of the way. You want to fold them backwards a little bit, and then using this hinge mechanism there, you want to gently fold, and this might get in the way of that, so I would suggest doing this once you are able to. You want to have the wings gently fold down and over the back piece right here so that it looks like that, and then do that with the other side. As per usual, be patient and gentle. You want to have the peg in the back. Hold on, camera's not. There we go. You want to have the peg in the back here, tab into a porthole here, and you want to push these wings together as you also tab this teeny tiny slab on both sides of the wings under the plastic piece here of the chest, right? So you want to kind of just gently push those together, and then you're going to hear like a really soft pop. Wait. You're going to feel it too once you have it done. Oh, mine's struggling with me right now. Please don't. Please be nice. You were so good off camera. Please be nice to me. Oh, come on. Please don't fight me now. Oh, good grief. There we go. That's one side. You hear that click? That's what you want to hear. That's when you know you have one side done. And you want to do the other side. Come on. Please work for me. Please. There we go. That's pretty much it. So now you want it to look like that. After that, it's a simple task of just taking the propulsion/miniature back wings and then folding them down so that they look like that. Once you have that done, you want to be sure to flip the legs over and have them look like that. Then, while trying to keep the legs from falling backwards onto you like they just did, you want to take the shoulders, you want to use the hinge joint, you want to fold them in, you want to have them rotate like this, and then you want to gently push the shoulders in, and then you want to do that with the other side. So you want to gently have them do this, right? And then you want to it's already undoing itself, then you want to push that in, and you want the tab on this arm here to tab into the porthole. Let me see. This porthole on this arm here when you gently push them together. And the legs are doing exactly what I am saying you have to be careful of. And then they are going to they're going to push together nicely, and they're not going to fight me, because there we go. You want them to do, and you want to fix the forearms a little bit, of course. You want them to look like that. Once you have pushed the shoulders together so that they go as far together as they can and as far down as they can, you want to take the forearms, you want to align the tabs on the forearms, sorry, they were off camera, with the ports that are going to be on the bottom of the thruster here, and you basically just want to gently push that down and tab those together, and it should It should do this for me on the first try on camera. Please. You were doing so good off camera when I was practicing transformation. Okay, yes. There we go. So, you want them to tab together, and it should look like that, nice and clean with no gaps. Once you've got that done, you want to bring the legs back down. You want to come down here to the calves. You're going to see these two like little side wings on his legs. You want to untab them here gently, like so, both sides. And you want to bring them down and... sorry. He fell in way. You want to bring them down, and you want to... I don't remember which way they're supposed to fold out. I think they just fold out like that. You want them to look like this. And then, of course, following that, you want to take the little golden flaps he has on the back of his calves. You want to gently pop them out, bring them up, and fold his toes into his legs, and then bring that tab back down. It's going to click back into place. Do the same thing on the other side. Fold it up, fold in his toe, bring it back down, gently have it click into place, and now his legs should look like that. Also, I made a small mistake. You actually want the secondary wings on his feet to face outwards. That was my mistake. So now you actually want them to just face like that. Once you've done that, you want to come back to the legs. You want to untab the crotch piece here, and this leg's already ahead of me. You basically want the legs to fall apart, and they're going to go from this, right? You want them to fall apart and look like this. Once you have done that, you can then turn him onto his belly. You want to spread the legs apart so he's doing like a bit of a weird split. And then once you have, the hips pushed apart, you want to push the legs up into the bottom of the plane. And you want the pegs that Dreadwing has on his hips to tab into these two holes right here. Should be relatively easy. You can just gently push in. Just like that. Then you want to bring the legs down by bending the knees so that they kind of go and cover the forearms. Right? So then now you have his little thrusters. Then you want to bring the wings and fold them down at this right here. Then you can, of course, flip him back over and take the landing gear, pop it out, and then there you have the Gear Factory Dreadwing figure in his F-35 alt mode, which, my opinion, absolute 8 out of 10. The only reason I'm not saying like 9 or 10 is because, of course, given the transformation factor of the figure, the leg work is a little clunky. It's completely forgivable in my opinion. It's just not like perfectly seamless, which is the only reason why it's not getting a 9 or a 10 out of 10. That doesn't mean that the figure's use of the body parts is bad. It's actually quite the opposite. The mold itself is very, very nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it for transformation from bot to plane mode. Let's transform him from plane to bot mode, actually. And this one, I'm just going to do it in one take because I don't care and I'm crazy. Y'all can skip ahead to whatever if you want. I'm just going to do whatever I want right now. Actually, you know what? I think I'll speed this up. Low key. I'll just speed this up. I just cut ahead to when he was back in bot mode because I didn't want to have to pain you guys with watching me fumble around of de-transforming him back into bot mode. So, I actually forgot to rank the transformation sequence, which technically counts from going, bot to alt and then alt to bot. It's a solid 8 out of 10. So long as you follow the instructions, or if you already know them off the top of your head, it's very, very fun. There are a lot of moving pieces, but given how complex the figure is in bot mode, and given how much time and, effort was put into making it look like it's supposed to in the show, per Dreadwing's design, I genuinely see the initial complexity as no issue whatsoever. Now, when it comes to scaling, that is an entirely different ballgame. So now getting to the second to last category, which, by the way, if you guys are still with me, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We are talking about scaling. Now, I brought a couple of official and non-official figures to help me out with this. So when it comes to non-official figures, here we have the APC Toys Darkmaster 2.0, also just fucking known as Transformers Prime Megatron, which scaling is pretty accurate in the show, given how Megatron is basically just like a head taller than almost everybody else around him at any given moment. Ooh, I'm just gonna boop to the gulag, you go. Anyways, now with a smaller figure to compare, we have Steve. I love Steve. Steve is such a good name. Anyways, Steve is a deluxe class, and this is also the APC Toys Viacon. So I'm just gonna now boop, pick him up, take him away. Moving on to another deluxe class figure, we have the APC Toys RC, who is like a head taller than Steve, so that's the scaling for that. And then, of course, with the official figure that I want to use, I have the totally Voyager class Breakdown, who I love. I'm going to talk about him in a future video, I promise. Anyways, the scaling for these two, I mean, it's almost spot on. Actually, you know what? Let me demonstrate with one of Dreadwing's spare heads, because in the show, when they went on that mission where something very unfortunate happened to Breakdown, I'm not spoiling the show. I refuse to relive that moment. It was very traumatic. Anyways, the scaling of Breakdown and Dreadwing in the show, Breakdown was not that short, so he was like more like this height compared to Dreadwing. He wasn't like all the way down here. However, given how their alt modes are an F-35 fighter jet and an armored truck, or SUV, I think, I'd say that the scaling for the alt modes is actually pretty accurate. And they look very cool. I love them. I'm just gonna take them away now. Okay, so that would be it for scaling, which I have to give overall a solid 7 out of 10. No 8 out of 10 because, of course, with APC Toys / Gear Factory redoing and unofficially reissuing all of the Transformers Prime Hasbro molds from the olden days, the scaling was never great for those toys to begin with, and we saw a shot where Megatron literally picked up RC by her waist with his bare hand. So, obviously, the scaling for that's not going to be accurate at all, which I don't really care for. Anyways, now moving on to the final category, woohoo, which is pricing. I pre-ordered this guy off of the Shozy store, which will be in the link of the description of this video. I totally said that grammatically correctly. Anyways, I bought him for $47.99 before tax and shipping. Would I say that he's worth that much? Absolutely. Like, oh my god, I want to make out with the CEO of Gear Factory, because the fact that this company is willing to give us as much as it does with every figure for the prices that it's willing to give us them for, it's actually something to be commended. It really speaks on how Hasbro as a company is just way too greedy. I literally love how whenever a third or fourth party figure is released, even if it's just like an unofficial reissue of a pre-existing mold, the companies almost always take the time to show us what Hasbro could be doing and how Hasbro could be servicing its fans by not being greedy and by actually giving us figures with accessories that make it our money's worth. So to see that after all the accessories we have for Dreadwing, that he is only $47.99, especially considering that he is a Voyager class figure. I mean, think about it. If Hasbro released this guy on their own time, they could have easily made it like a solid $60 or $70 price tag, right? But Gear Factory didn't do that, and I think it's genuinely amazing. So for me, personally, the pricing, solid 9 out of 10. If I had my way with it, I would just bump it down $10, make it $37. But, seeing as to how Voyagers nowadays are being marketed for $42, $47.99 is not a bad price at all. And if you guys can get your hands on him, I would absolutely do it. So, drum roll please, folks, while I calculate the final score, because I was doing them all as I recorded and did not think to preset them earlier. Final scores, we have bot mode, which is a 9 out of 10. Articulation, which is an 8 out of 10. Accessories at a 10 out of 10. Transformation at an 8 out of 10. Alt mode at an 8 out of 10. Scaling at a 7 out of 10. pricing at a 9 out of 10, which is all going to add up to 59, and 59 over 70, that's a 8.4, which we can round up to a solid 8 out of 10 for the overall figure itself. Really nothing else to be said here except for just how fucking great this guy is. He looks genuinely so beautiful. Like, I'm not gonna be able to get over this ever. Go buy this figure if you can before he's sold out, because then the fucking scalpers are gonna get their hands on him and it's gonna be the end of everything. Also, actually, let me just mention, for anyone who's watching this in the future, once this guy is sold out on the secondhand market, if you decide to get him secondhand market, don't pay more than 60 or 70 bucks before tax and shipping. If you're gonna get him secondhand, genuinely don't pay more than 80 overall for before tax and shipping, because scalpers are gonna want to get their hands on this guy and they're gonna try to milk the fuck out of it. So if you're watching this, like, I don't know, 2-3 years in the future and this guy's been sold out and you're looking for him second market, absolutely try to get him for $80 or less secondhand market. Do not go over 80, and do not go over 80. I mean that, because while I agree that, you know, depending on how badly you want the figure, any price might be worth it, but you also have to keep in mind these are still pieces of plastic, right? And when it comes to scalpers scalping other APC toy figures, it's genuinely disgusting. So if you're gonna get this guy secondhand market, final thoughts: do not go over $80. But is he worth the price he's being marketed at right now as I'm recording this, which is $47.99? Fuck yeah! Go buy him right now and add him to your Transformers Prime collection. And with that, I will be signing off, and I hope you'll have a good day. I will see you in the next video.